Hi, I'm Sarah and she's Trixie. We are a mother-daughter duo and we call ourselves Our Yarn World. We come to you today just 5 days after Christmas, and we have so much to share with you, not only about our love for yarn crafts and what they do for us and the means of gifts and talents and just overall mental grounding that it gives us as we're doing it, but we have so much to share with you today. We got so many good presents from our husbands and family and as you know, I've been having a blast making presents for my nephews. I do believe you saw that in the last episode, but I just want to share that. It was so much fun. And we are currently very, very deep in snow right now. Last night it just dumped on us. We live in Michigan, so when it just does it, it does it. There's other parts of the country that did get it worse. We got about 5 to 6 inches. I know other places got like 13. But it is winter, and it is the season to get warm and cozy. And what better way to get nice and cozy than with a hot beverage?
Yes, that's right.
Something that we love to do, and we encourage you that if it's not crafting, that pick up that book, pick up that I don't know, whatever it might be. It could be that magazine that you've been wanting to read, or even this Netflix show, or a Disney Plus series that you've been wanting to pick up. Just get nice and get ready to come on this wonderful day of getting ready to enjoy what Christmas has given us.
So today I am drinking my Egyptian mint out of my green plaid cup. And I'm so glad that you have your plaid cup too.
Yep, it's my Let's Snuggle plaid cup that has hot cocoa with a vanilla liquid creamer in it.
Ooh, that sounds very good.
So we have a lot to share. I know I keep saying that, but it's just so true.
So exciting.
I've been like giddy over this particular video because I'm just like, I got all the things to share. So, if we can just talk real quickly about giving the gifts to the boys. I know you guys saw the video, but it was so much fun. We had each boy open their present up separately so we could get their reaction, and obviously seeing that you saw in the last video. But it was so much fun because after the camera turned off, they were coming to me, thanking me. They were playing with their gifts. The boys with the Mario and the Bowser. Their mom later on that night showed me a photo of them sleeping with their Mario and Bowser. And it just, that was what it was all about. That right there just
spend Christmas night sleeping with their favorite toys. So we know that it was a big hit.
I know, yeah. It was just so nice, and it took a minute for Braxton to figure out what the hat was, but granted, I understand. I mean, it didn't look like anything just pulling it out, but all of a sudden when he realized it's a face and it's supposed to gobble up his head, he was laughing so hard at that. It was ridiculous. I loved it so much. I don't have my phone on me. I might send you the video, but I did have a video of me having the hat on and turning around so you the viewer could be able to see it in more detail, because I did not have it completed by the time that the previous video was airing. So you saw it being unwrapped, but you didn't see the finished product. And because I do not have it with me, obviously it's with him, I will have a video that it could be added on the tail end of this video that you can actually see it completely all the way around. I had eyebrows on it, and the eyes looked like they were bulging with veins. They had veins popping out everywhere, and just, it was so much fun to make. I finished it the day I gave it to him. That morning. It was it was the last thing I had to get done, and I literally was getting it in the bag, and I just felt like this huge weight lifting off me. And
Yeah.
not that crafting is meant to be like that, but just that feeling of that Christmas rush. I feel like everyone has done that, where it's like that last minute gift, but when it's being handmade, it's different than being like, I just got to get to that store that has the last one. I have it on hold somewhere.
Yeah.
Or where's that Amazon package? Come on, I'm tracking it. I'm waiting. I will meet him down the road if I can just get it off that truck.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's you have to have the time to be able to spend, and if you're getting it wrong, like with the hat, I didn't have a pattern. I was doing it off the top of my head, and so
Yeah.
I was having a whole bunch of trial and error that I was figuring out. It was freaking me out. But I got done. And I'm so glad he likes it. His mom was laughing so hard. She kept saying that she was
so much.
she thought she kept threatening to take it from him and wear it herself, and I was just like, well, you know. So there was that. Do you want me to share my gifts first, or do you want to share your gifts
No,
first?
I want you to do yours.
Okay,
So
so
exciting.
my husband, he says that this wasn't a part of the gift, but
He's a giving person.
I don't really, I can't really, well, I guess one of his love languages might be giving.
I know my husband is.
Yeah, I just never really thought of him as a gift giver because he doesn't do it very often, but when he does, he really does think about it.
Yes.
So yes, I'd guess that he's really good at, not that he isn't good at it, but like, I guess that is one of his love languages. I have a pattern that I've been wanting to do. And it's on Ravelry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I'm still getting used to that. And it's like a $6 pattern, which isn't that bad.
No.
But I have not been able to sit down and just download it yet. And he didn't get it for me. He knows I want it, but because my birthday's right around the corner from Christmas, I think that he's waiting till then. But he was just like texting me photos of like, I know you don't know what yarn you want, but you said you wanted something like this. And because he's been doing a lot of research with me about yarns and the different fiber mixtures and how to be able to block them and what that takes and what's best for what purpose, he got me these Lion brand Heartland yarn. They are a handcrafted yarn. They say that they're sensationally soft, but they're like very dense,
Very squishy
yarn. It is all acrylic, 100% acrylic yarn, and for acrylic, it's super soft.
Yeah.
But because it has that give, I feel like it's very doable for making garments, because I feel like with some acrylic, what the problem with it is that it can be used obviously for garments, but because it doesn't have that bounce that most garments need,
Right.
and it can be a little scratchy because of its material,
Right.
it's not what people choose. But there's mixtures of yarns that, for people like me that don't always have the money to spend on those different... What? Did you hear something?
No.
Okay. Sorry. The different... With certain yarn blends, they're a little bit more expensive, and they come in smaller sizes, and like... and it can be hard to purchase enough to be able to make a garment of the size that I want, because living in the cold places, I want to make myself a very nice cardigan.
Yeah.
And that's the pattern I want to get off of Ravelry. Well, he found the yarn that would work, and we were super excited about it. And these are relatively smaller balls of yarn than I would normally pick, but because Joann's was having a sale, he had no problem buying me all the yarn. And he got me in this shade. It's a purple. It's not coming up as vibrant as it really is.
It's called Hot Springs.
Yeah, it's Hot Springs, but it's almost like, it's not metallic, it doesn't shine, but it's a very vibrant dark purple, almost neon. I know it's not coming off that way, but it's very pretty. Then I got, it's all in the same,
I love this blue.
it's all in the same Lion Brand Heartland acrylic yarn and type. This one is called Olympic, and it's a very, very nice blue. This is kind of coming off as what it is.
Yeah.
It's a very, very nice blue, and I would really like to make the cardigan
Very dimensional.
out of this one. Yeah. I didn't want a yarn that was too dark because this cardigan has so much detail that the dark would just kind of like wash it out. So would too light of a color, so I was trying to find the right color. Well, because he's a man, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that, but he wanted to get me spend money on me where it would give more, and he thought a $6 pattern would not do that, even though I want it. He found me a Lion Brand crochet book, pattern book, that, you know what I'm talking about when I talk about those pattern books that have that really, really nice, almost soft velvety feel. This book obviously was not cheap.
Quality magazine feel.
Yeah. And this is a Lion Brand, 2 simple shapes, 26 crochet cardigans, tops and sweaters. So it's pretty much if you can construct a shape confidently of a square or rectangle,
right,
crocheting wise, you can make all the patterns in here. Obviously they teach you multiple different stitches and techniques and stuff, and it has multiple different patterns that they are offering in this. But I was just so happy. Like I wanted that pattern, but this was just so nice that.
And there's 26 different patterns in this book.
Yeah, and it's so cool, and I was so excited about getting this, and I finally getting all of those other crafts done that had that deadline, and I finally got them there, that I was so excited. And you know when you have a normal set routine where you get so used to doing something that it's like it feels wrong not to be in front of the TV with a project, or it feels so wrong not to sit down and have that project in your hand almost every single waking moment. And I know it sounds really, really crazy, but with the projects that I was doing, I had to use up all my free time on it. Right. And so when I sat down Christmas Day without anything and he just plopped this in my lap, I was like, wow. What am I doing next? Because even though I didn't have the other pattern, I was like, I'm doing something. I'm doing something for me. And he knows I've been wanting to make garments. And he also knows that, we talked about this last week, I have a hard time sitting down and doing big items because my drive seems to dwindle, because I get so inspired with so many other things. Right. But I've learned to have a little bit more endurance the last couple of years. I feel like I've really gained more endurance to do bigger projects, so to speak. The drive to do longer and bigger projects, if that makes sense. And so I chose one, and it is called I want to say it's the Goldenrod cardigan. Yeah, it's called the Goldenrod cardigan. It's very pretty, and it's very simple. And my husband has bought me a lot of this shade and the Lion brand Heartland yarn. Right. And this shade, sorry, I am fumbling over my words today. Bear with me. And this green. Oh my goodness, it's not showing up really well. This green is so much more rich than there it is. Then it's really showing. It is called Kings Canyon. And this green is so nice. And I was like, I want to wear that. Like, I want to wear the blue. I want to wear this. And so he's been consistently picking these up for me. He works right next to a Joann's, so it's kind of convenient that when he's just heading home and he knows stuff is on sale, he'll just stop and grab yarn. And so he
knows right where it is.
Yeah, so he has picked up quite a few of these for me because he knows it's going to take a few. And that is what I am currently, is my whip. I've already used one full
Oh, wow.
skein. This pattern requires, I'm doing a large, and it required me to chain 280 chains and then work into them going up. I'm making a rectangle for this particular pattern. I have to do 84 rows up, and I just finished row 26.
Wow.
So I'm a little over a quarter away there.
Yeah.
And the pattern that they want me to do is very simple. It almost looks knitted despite it being crocheted. It looks like it's knit with all these V's. And it looks like there's pearls, like a knit, pearl. But it is a half double slip stitch. Half double crochet slip stitch, which and it's only being worked in the back loop, and it causes the side of the stitch that develops this V to stay prominent, and so it makes these valleys, and it's
really clever,
and it looks the same on both sides despite what it is. It's one of those stitches that is purely reversible, that as long as you staying on the back loop every single time you finish your row, it's consistent. And so I just got to my second skein. This I've been measuring, so like that one skein took about 19 and a third row. So I know that it's going to take this portion of the cardigan about 4 and a little bit of the 5th skein. And I only have 5 skeins, so I know that I'm going to need to use the rest of that one skein probably on a sleeve, and I'll probably need just about one more of these. And because I'm someone who likes to know how long it takes me, like with a pattern like this and a project like this, I like to know how many rows I realistically can get done in a day, so I can know around what time of the month I can actually enjoy this, because I live in Muskegon, Michigan. I want to be able to
snowy land.
Yeah, I really want to be able to enjoy this during the season. So I'm like, I don't want something that I'm going to end up finishing.
Right.
And then the snow's too late. Yeah. Not that I wouldn't enjoy it the following year, but you know what I mean. And so, I feel like it takes me about 15 to 20 minutes a row just because of how long it is.
Oh, yeah.
And so I can realistically spend I've had up to about 8 rows accomplished. So I can get about 2.5 hours in on a project like this, which means I can get between, on average, 6 to 8 rows depending on the day. And so that gives me a good idea as to how long this project's going to take.
Yeah.
I can probably get this project done in the next 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
If I continuously work on it.
And it's so beautiful.
And for someone like me, I wanted to talk about this. For someone like me that has a hard time keeping on the drive for a project like this, I noticed that one way to make sure that the drive stays alive is to acknowledge that you don't have to, you can enjoy this right now.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes especially me, when I have other projects on the back burner, I feel this necessary need to finish them. But it's because I like the end product. I'm not someone who is enjoying the process necessarily.
Right.
I do because it gives me something to do that I like to do, and I'm doing it for me or for someone I love.
Right.
But there's something about the finished project for me that gives me that I did it. Like,
Yeah.
I did it. I finished it. It's done. Let me be able to enjoy it now. And I have so many projects on the back burner that you know about that I'm just like, oh, why should I have the right to like pick up something like this and start this when I have that stuff on
See,
there?
and I like the process. I like getting,
Having something
to do, and I don't even worry about the end product until I'm right there. I just like during the whole thing to work and be happy with the project itself.
Yeah, so that's why she's able to do bigger projects and stick at it and not get distracted by all the different ideas, because I've noticed that as long as I'm staying off of Pinterest,
Right.
staying off of ideas and letting my other whips stay UFOs for a minute, knowing that they will come back, knowing that I will finish them.
Right.
After such a month worth of making presents for my nephews, my husband giving me these gifts, I know I can spend some time on me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay. It's okay. And I know it'll be done quickly. And he, knowing that I needed a project bag for so much, got me this project bag that I am now able to keep all my yarn in for this project. I'm able to keep it in here. And if I were to want to, I do have these tracks that I can pull the yarn through, and if I need to pull the project through, I can. But I really haven't been. I've just kind of been pulling it out and putting it back in. And it keeps it protected from my children when I have it out in the living room with me doing the projects. And I love this front pocket. I know it seems kind of pointless, but I really, really like it because how I keep track of my rows is I wrote them down in a grid, and then as I finish a row, I color one in.
Yeah.
And so I have that right there. And so I'm able to constantly see my
And
progress.
Your hook fits in there too.
My hook and my pencil.
Yeah.
And it's just been so nice to have this project, and I'm really excited, and I know I'm going to be able to get it done and just sit down and get it all the way down to the end, not have anything else in my way. And it's been really nice to be able to feel like that. My husband really, really did good for me this year. Not that he doesn't do good for me, but like he has these typical gifts that he gets me during every single year. Like he'll get me like a book, and then he'll get me like a figurine of one of our favorite shows, and then generally he'll get me a crafting gift.
Right.
And I was kind of nervous because I didn't have any books that I wanted, and I didn't have any figurines that I wanted this year. So when I said that, he was kind of sitting there being like, well, what do I get you? And I'm like, that's kind of on you to figure out. And so he did more on the crafting end.
Yeah.
And he knows me too well to know that I still love my books, but with my projects, I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks more. And he got me these Bluetooth.
Ooh.
So Bluetooth headphones. So it sits on my neck, and then I can just put it right here.
Wow.
And so I can pull it off, and they sit right there. But the reason why he got me these, because I normally just have my normal earbuds. I have a very hard time. Like, those earbuds that recently are just like they're in your ear and there's no cord attached.
Right.
I have a hard time with those because when I put them down, if they drop or if they get lost, I'm sitting there being like, I don't want one of my babies to get them. I don't want something. So having this is actually quite nice, that when I pull something off, it's going to sit on my neck. But my kids also have a tendency that when I have my normal earbuds, they pull it out of my phone. They pull it and rip it and throw it somewhere, and I'm always losing the rubber attachments because they eat them. Yes, so I'm always losing them. So he got me this so that I could actually enjoy my project and listen to my audiobooks, and I can put that down and continue cooking or do what I want, and I still have this with me.
That's so awesome.
With me. And so he got me that, and I'm a camel, and when I drink the whole glass at one time. And so he got me a new canteen.
Wow.
So that when I start my workouts again, because, broke my foot, couldn't, I have something to keep up with.
It's really pretty. I love that color.
Yeah, so he's pretty much made it so I don't have to move when I start my crafts. I have my... I literally told him, I'm like, you literally got me this guillotine and my earbuds and something to hold all my yarn, and even my project book, that you gave me fits in there. I'm like, I don't have to move. I don't have to do anything. I just sit here and live here for like the next day or two. Like, bye.
Well, my husband, he asked what I wanted, and the first thing I thought of was a camera stand. So even though you can't see it right now, I have a camera stand.
We've been putting you on top of books and boxes since the beginning.
You've been wobbling, and we've been a little worried, but now we don't have to worry about you anymore. And this camera stand even has a level on it, so I know that you guys are seeing this level, and I am
nifty.
Very happy with it. It folds down to very small so that I can put it right in my bag, take it with me, and so now I don't have to worry about anything. It's convenient, it's portable, it's everything that I was asking for, and it even fits my phone on there, even though right now we're not recording on our phone. I have a camera, but if I wanted to, I could.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that he got me, and it's not craft related, but it was something I did ask for because I do have a breathing problem, and I was in the hospital twice this year for it, is that
oximeter?
I have a problem with my oxygen levels. So I asked him for a oximeter, and so that's the little thing that fits on your finger and tells you your oxygen level, your pulse, all that kind of stuff. And it's the same color as her canteen. It's pink. So, and that's perfect for me. I love pink. So he said, I hope I got you the right color. And when I pulled it out, I was just like, that's the perfect color for me. So
I didn't even know you could get them in multiple colors.
So now I have something that I can check my oxygen level several times a day if I need to, because winter is very hard on people with asthma and people who have the breathing problems like I do. So now I can check myself. I don't have to go into the hospital or into a med center to find out what my oxygen level is. That's cool. That's really nice for me.
That's awesome.
But I think, if you don't mind, I'm going to show some of the blacks that I've been working on.
Yeah, go ahead. I know this episode's kind of all over the place. It's not...
I decided to have a little fun because I do like changing colors. So I found all my little teeny scraps of yarn, and I tied them in magic knots all the way until I had a ball like this. And I spent the whole day making like 14 of these blocks and using up all of that yarn. And so I have all kinds of fun colors to, and I mean, some of them were very small, just that little bit. Where else are you going to use this stuff? So, and just having, it may seem silly to you, but I have a dream to make this blanket, but now I think it's going to be two different blankets. Yeah. One's going to be in the muted colors,
yeah,
and one's going to be in these fun off center, off cue colors.
That's what I was just about to ask you, because I know that your intention for that blanket was to be muted, and I was just like, I just looked down and there's all these like, I didn't even know she did this. That neon, look at that neon. It's like hair.
So yeah, I decided what I was going to do. I went through all my blacks. I separated them out into these fun loving colors, off center, crazy quilt kind of thing. And then I have the solid muted colors that I had originally started with. And I separated them so that now I'm going to be doing 2 different blankets. And so I can do 176 blacks times 2. And then I'm going to sew in all these ends, and I'm going to whip stitch them all together, and I'm going to have 2 different blankets.
Are you whip stitching them all together?
That's what it calls for.
I understand that, but like an idea here. You get a solid color that you like, and you sew a row around each one so it frames every single one, so when you stitch it up, it's that, and you use that same solid color, and each one is showcased. It doesn't just get blended in.
Yeah, I could do that.
I mean, it's up to you. If you
Ooh, I could do it in black. That would show off all these really vibrant colors.
Like the neon ones, that would be really cool. But like with the muted one, you could do like a soft gray.
Yeah.
But like I have no problem if you want to do it your way of just mentioning them together. I just know that depending on what blocks get mixed together, they're not going to look that well matched, where it's like, oh, pinks are right next to each other or whatever. I mean,
I can do that right at the end, though, and have another dimension on each of these blocks that would make it stand out a little bit more. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, just bordering them with a solid color, and that way when you're sewing them all together, you can just use that same color.
Yeah.
And it will just frame it.
Yeah.
Like, it will just, and it will make each one its own piece of art.
Yeah. So that's what you get to look forward to. I'm going to have
huge.
2 different blankets. So
huge. You're just using all your
I am. I'm not buying anything. I'm just using all my scraps up.
You can use my scraps.
Ooh, thank you.
I have a whole bunch of scraps that I have not known what to do with. You can just have them all.
Yeah. There you go.
I just knew I didn't have any muted colors. Otherwise, I would have given them to you already. But I have plenty of neon.
Because I found out how to do that invisible knot, and it was like, oh, I could just do all of these little colors together and make my own big ball of it, and it'd be a variegated, fun-loving colors. And I was having so much fun with it.
I highly recommend that if you do not know what the magic knot is, look it up. We could make a tutorial for it, but it's just easier for you to look up one that is already made. It is a knot that is designed that when you pull it tight, it almost goes seamless.
It strengthens it.
It strengthens the yarn, but you're attaching 2 different yarns together at the tail end, and when you snip it, you can snip it all the way to its root. So you don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to
weave in any ends.
And it's not that big of a knot where you're feeling like there's a clunky something just in the middle of your project. It's really, really nice.
And it usually fits right into one of the little holes or underneath the stitches. As you're doing the stitches, it pulls into those. So that was what I found really neat about it. It hides itself.
Yeah, it hides itself real well, especially depending on the stitch that you're using.
Yeah.
It's really, really, it's suited for crafts like these where it's like garments or blankets. I would really highly suggest that if you ever are in need for joining yarn, it's a very, very good tip.
And it's satisfying.
It is very satisfying. Something that I've been figuring out has been you have to respect yourself when you're doing a craft. Like, I think that there's something to, you almost get a little, I don't know, stuck up on yourself, like being like, I've always done it this way. I don't need it to do it any other way. It's the way that I like doing it. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if you have a way that you like that isn't the normal way, no big deal. But like, for me, like, I've always had trouble with my eyesight, but I've never really had an issue with just sitting down and doing a project. And I noticed that recently, especially on this project that I've been doing with the darker yarn, that, hey, it's okay. I need a light behind me.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I have a hard time having light directly at me. My eyes have always hated that. But I still need light. And I am considering, with one of my Christmas presents, which was a gift card, buying myself a lamp that I can use.
You can get one of those art lights too,
No,
Dad.
my kids won't let me use something like that. They would run away with it.
Yeah.
But like one of those nice lamps that reach high and are like almost like a reading lamp.
Come down over you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be nice.
I want one for my bed. By my bed, and I normally in the living room I have decent lighting, and I am blessed with a light right over here, so when I'm watching TV in my extra room with my husband, I can just turn that on during the night. But like, it's one of those things where it's simple, but making your crafting area or the areas in your house that you normally sit at to do your craft more enjoyable. It's okay. Like, it's okay to splurge and get that lamp. It's okay to splurge and get the things that make it more enjoyable, because they will last a lot longer than, you know.
Well, and even having a well-lit area to do your crafts and will not strain your eyes too. It's all about being comfortable in the craft that you're doing, and making yourself able to do it, because you've got all the things that you need, all the things right at arm's length, or in a well-lit area, so that you can just sit down and do your thing and not have to worry about.
I think it seems kind of like a dumb moment for some of you, but like the way that for me, it's like I would have never bought that project bag for myself.
But it's nice to have.
But I have found it being one of my favorite gifts. Like, when I was opening it up, I was like, oh, this is nice. Thank you. Like, I wasn't unappreciative of it. But I'm sitting there being like, I could have just, you know, I am so used to just grabbing like one of those grocery canvas bags and just throwing my project in that and just walking off, that I never took the time to appreciate having an actual project bag.
Yeah.
Until I got one. Like, I never sat to appreciate the lamp that I have over here until recently. I have been actively enjoying my calm cardigan project at night, because with the Argurumis, I sat under intense light because it had so much smaller stuff. I wasn't really I wasn't sitting there being like, oh, I just want to relax. With those, it was more like, hey, I actually need the light to see what I'm doing here.
That was actual work.
It was more work than play, if that makes sense. But I'm sitting there just being like, I have this light that works so well. And part of this might just be me settling into the house and finding good places to put things and being like, that really does work well there. That works well here. That works well there. But all of a sudden realizing, it's okay to splurge and make it more enjoyable to have your craft. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with taking the minute and stepping out and actually having a little bit more lenience to yourself. Like I said, I was just one of those people that if I don't have to, I don't need to. Sort of people. And all of a sudden, I've been given things that I would have never bought for myself or ever thought about getting for myself, like the lamp. and realizing this will make this more enjoyable. And I can use it for reading. I can use it for this. Like, why am I making such a big deal about it?
Well, and you're working with that darker yarn too. It makes it so much easier to see the stitches when you've got the good lighting.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that maybe to some of you it's a dumb moment to spend a little bit more to make it more enjoyable, but I would have never thought of it. And so for me, it's just one of those things I wanted to share. Sometimes it's okay to sit down and just do what you need to do to make your craft more enjoyable. It's okay. You don't always have to make it yourself.
And you can shop your house too. Shop your house to find those items that you could rethink or reuse in a different way to make that area more enjoyable and more usable for you.
And I guess part of this is more of I've always come from the standpoint that it's my craft, so I have to accommodate for it. And yet my husband has shown so much interest in what I've been able to do that he's taking the time to give me the tools without me always having to compromise or thrift or do or make ends meet for it. Like, he hated me seeing me with that canvas bag full of all the yarns that I had to use for that argirumi thing. He hated it. He thought it was messy and he thought it was unkept, and it was, but that's how I had to do. And so he gets me this project bag.
And he showed it to me for it before he ever gave it to her. He opened up his phone and he showed me the bag, and I looked at it and I said, that's perfect for her. And he says, I was so glad when I was able to find it. So he was actually so happy to show me that he got something for her that was going to work.
Yeah. And like I said, this lamp, I mean, we've had this lamp for a long time, but when I put it there, I was like, it fits there.
Yeah.
So I felt like it worked there. But all of a sudden, it started getting darker. I had dark materials.
Yes.
My eyes don't work that well. I mean, they work fine, but I just have always had problems with my eyes since I was born. And I just turned on that lamp, and all of a sudden it was just like a light bulb. Oh, pun not intended.
That's fun.
And I just sat there being like, oh, I could actually take the time to actually buy myself something that would make this more enjoyable.
Sure.
And I have a spot near my bed that I sit and I do it in bed too while my husband's playing on his Switch or reading. And I'm sitting there, and I have good lighting in my bedroom, but it's over me, not over my shoulder. It's on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And so it's coming at me from a different angle and not showing me the stitches as well. And I need my back to be supported, so when I'm sitting there, I don't want to hunch over to be able to see the stitches.
Right.
I want to be able to relax back and have it just already over my shoulder. So I'm thinking about getting myself something that makes my projects and makes what I do more enjoyable, and it's okay. I've always been someone, especially my parents, have always shown me ways of make do with what you got. I have extra material, make a project bag out of it. Yeah. Take this, just make more uses out of it. And I've always done that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I have no problem with that. I love doing that. I love being able to find ways of multitask uses for things. But it's okay to get something new, to actually not have to spend the time. Sometimes it's already done, it's already at the store. It's okay to just go and actually
purchase it.
It's okay to splurge for yourself to make it more enjoyable, instead of being like, well, until I make it, I don't have it. More of a, if that's not enjoyable to you and you have the extra money, just go get the project bag. Just go get the lamp. Just get something that's built for what you want, not just settling for what you want.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the money, making the means, look up a tutorial on YouTube. Find a way of being able to make something that is thrifty, that works for your needs without having to compromise for quality. There are
Right.
ways of making good project bags. There are ways of getting good lighting. There's ways
And
of
that's
having what you need and thrift for it. If you need it and you don't have the money for it, there's still good ways of doing that that still will make it only for you and only for what you need it for. And it'll mean so much to you.
right.
But for someone that always does that, it was so nice to just be like, it's completed, here you go. And I was just like,
But that's a good reason why Pinterest is so popular and important, and
Yeah.
why YouTube is so popular and important, that you can learn how to do things too. If you don't have the means to get it
enables
from the
you.
store, you can make it yourself if you've got all the parts and pieces to do it with, or find a different way to do it.
Cause like you can get a lamp, a tall lamp, that works for you if you can find it like on Facebook Marketplace or
Oh, yeah.
something like that. Or like if you you really can make a lamp work for you, even a small one. It literally just takes finding a shade that directs the light in the way that you need it.
Yeah.
So, like, I could find something like that, but I think I'm going to take the time to actually just purchase something that is a little bit more accommodating for what I need.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, like, in my head, I already know what I could do to make something up because I've done that forever, but it just felt so nice to not have to think, just to be able to enjoy it. And maybe that's the point of the season of giving, that when you receive the thoughtfulness of others around you, you really get the time to appreciate the things that you love, whether it be reading, whether it be crafting, whether it be even in receiving things that like my husband, he likes video games, and there's nothing wrong with that. I enjoy watching him play, and I do enjoy some of the games myself, but like sometimes it's just in the matter of, you didn't need this,
Right.
but I know that you're going to enjoy it. And sometimes with us, we crafters, we get so used to just being like, well, until I make it, I won't have it, instead of, you can just have it
Right.
to enjoy.
Right. So with that, our scripture today that we decided on was, so then we pursue the things which make for peace and the building up of one another.
Pretty much what we've been talking about.
Yeah. Romans 14:19. So we're going to pursue those things that make things peaceful, makes things easier. Makes things more cozy for each other, and we're going to build each other up instead of tearing each other down. And in this day and age where it's so important to build people up, and in doing so, you're not tearing yourself down, you're building yourself up as well.
Yeah, especially this year. Especially someone that, you're stuck in a situation where you have to give and give and give and give because you don't want to see the people that you love around you to constantly being on the down low. If you're not getting enough to receive in yourself, you're going to dry your bank. My pastor always talks about how, love is like a bank. You have love because you're receiving it. You can't just, you have to have it coming from somewhere. So like say you have a $20 bill put into your bank and you're giving $1 here and $5 here. If you don't have money coming in, you're going to eventually go dry and not have anything for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what, for me, I've been thinking about a lot is 1 John 4:19, the whole, we love because he loved us first. We can't.
That's true.
We love, and we have to learn to love the people around us, even if they frustrate us. We have to love them unconditionally, And that's not our choice. We have to do it because he already sacrificed himself for them just as much as he did for you. That was not your choice.
Right.
And so we have to make room for people that even make it can be hard.
Yeah.
And even with the people that we do love, sometimes it can be hard, because when we're dry, to give so much of ourselves up when we feel dry, it can be very hard. But that's why taking the time to do something that is self-care, self-love, like these crafts, taking the time to be like, even if the people around me are just in that mood where even though you've given them all the love you can and they're just not doing anything to reciprocate back, and you know that they just need some time to be angry, be frustrated, they need to let those feelings out. And because at that time they're not ready to push love back towards you, sometimes you have to be responsible for your own self-care. And that's what I find with stuff like this. You can sit down, have a grounding moment, a moment where you're sitting there being like, I'm just going to make a block today. Because that means I have 5 minutes to myself.
Yeah.
This is proof I had 5 minutes to myself. And so for every single time she will make that, when she shows off that blanket, she'll be like, look at all those 5 minutes I had to myself. Wasn't that nice? I can wrap myself up in all those minutes and I can enjoy it. And for me, that's what projects are. They're a proof of time that you spent thinking about yourself, thinking about others. And that's not selfish. It's not you. It's not you sitting there being like, oh, I'm so self-absorbed to be able to do this. It's, I'm taking a minute to reward myself for the efforts I've been able to make, for the time I've been able to save for just me, and sit down and
put it in your own bank so that you've got enough to give to others.
Yeah. And sometimes sitting down and doing that is your way of giving to others. Like for me, when I was doing it for the boys. What you were doing for our family member with that previous blanket that you sent off to California. Sometimes that's our way. And guess what? You both get to receive from that talent.
And by the way, I got the nicest message.
Oh, it was so
a voice
sweet.
message from this person who just said he loved the colors and he loved the blanket, and that he was going to wrap himself up in it, and after the surgery it was going to come in so handy for him. And it sounded like he was almost crying. He was so happy with it. And he also said that excuse me, that he loved me, and that that made me feel so good. But I did it so that he could feel the love of God on him when he was using it. And I am so grateful that God used me in that way to bless this person.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. If you have a talent from God, no matter what it is, we've talked about this. It doesn't have to be yarn. It could be the ability.
Whatever
it can
it
be.
is.
It sometimes it isn't a craft. Sometimes it's an ability. Sometimes it's a gifting. Sometimes it's a characteristic. Maybe you're a very outgoing person.
Right.
Maybe there's not one person that isn't a friend to you, or maybe you're a solitary person that doesn't like to do much more than sit at home and appreciate the things that the world gives you, like books and video games and stuff like that.
Sometimes you work in the background, sometimes you work in the front.
But there's a gift. Regardless if you're an introvert, extrovert, whatever in between, no matter what it is, you have a personality, you have a trait, you have a talent that not only should be used to help others, but should give you strength.
Yes.
You should be able to get strength from your talent. You should be able to have a means with your talent.
Yeah.
You should be able to do things with it that not only benefit others, but in doing that, you should be able to receive yourself.
For yourself.
And it's just something that I know that we talk about every single time, but it feels like it's not talked about enough. Because I always hear people be like, well, this talent's always supposed to be used this way. And I'm just like, if it's used wrong, then you put it up.
Yeah.
I know some people that are really good at music. Someone shot them down saying that they didn't think that they were good enough, or they said something, and they put that talent up there and they never touch it again, even though it gave them so much enjoyment and they were enjoying sharing it with others. That one person shot them down. And for me, that's the thing. You have a talent. It builds you up while you're building up other people. If you can't, you have the right to enjoy it. You have the right to get better at it. You have the right to spread it.
And if you're that person who got shot down, take that talent back out and do it again. Don't let one person or two people or however many people shoot you down. Take it back out and enjoy it for yourself.
Yeah. We are always here for you if you need any prayer request, or if you need if you have anything you would like to share with us. Our email is in the description, and we are always available through that email. If there is anything you would like us to see or talk about or review, we would love to do that as well.
Or leave a comment.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. A comment,
a question, a prayer request, whatever
if
you want.
you guys ever want us to do something like a Q&A, leave your questions down below. We would love to do something like that with you guys. And what did you guys get for Christmas? What is it that did you guys get stuff that you're able to feed your tank with after doing so many gifts for people? Is there stuff that you would like to share with us? Please leave it down in the comments below.
Yes.
We would love to hear them.
Yeah.
And till next time, till next week, we will see you all later. We ask and pray that you have a good day and stitch your way
to mental health.